Hey, everybody. It is Peter here from Strong Healthy Women, and welcome to Confidence Within You. I am so excited today because we have the lovely Fiona Keary from Style Liberations talking to us. Hey, Fiona, how are you doing today?
I am so good. Thank you so much, Peter, for having me here today.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. I'm really, really excited about this topic because I've recently been writing a booklet, like an e download or whatever you call those things, and it's about body confidence. And so it was really interesting going through some of the stats. Did you actually know that 87% of women have dieted by the age of 17?
That
Eight,
no,
eight,
I didn't, and I
87%.
find that's scary.
It
Isn't
is
it?
scary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And and what was really fascinating was a quarter of Australian women feel that their self-worth is about their appearance and their body shape and their size. And I went, wow, that's mind-boggling because, we are all totally unique in who we are. And we're all different shapes and sizes. And you could ask any supermodel, if you knew any, how they felt about themselves. And they'll always find something wrong. I don't like my nose the way it points up, or, I don't like the way this something happens. So we all judge ourselves. We're all super, super critical. And we just seriously need to stop doing that stuff. We just need to appreciate ourselves for who we are and what our body does.
Absolutely. And you've actually taken the words out of my mouth. We need to appreciate our bodies for what they enable us to do. They're not
Mm,
just a host that is there for aesthetic reasons. Our bodies are
no,
here to achieve the things that we want to achieve in our life and our dreams. And that might seem a bit
yeah,
weird coming from someone who is a stylist and an image consultant,
yeah,
but that is something that I am really, really passionate about. It's like this is just, the outside. And yes, we do want to pay attention to the outside in terms of reflecting who we are inside. I think we
mm,
need to do that because it reflects our personality. It's how we present ourselves. It's how we show up, but it doesn't
mm,
define who we are or what we can achieve. And yeah,
no.
I have a lot to say about that, but we've got quite a bit of time this week for me to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be very
And
annoying.
yeah. And so I wanted to like think about, because we are all unique, we all have this way of expressing ourselves, who we are as a personality. And I know that is something that you talk a lot about in what you teach. And I'd love for you to share some of that with the ladies who are listening to us.
Yeah, and look, I'm going to start off with a little story because it might be something that people can relate
Mm,
to. Um, you know, there's reasons why we feel good in some things and not so great in other things that we wear.
yeah.
And I think, that realization came to me, as a kid growing up, you know, you're made to wear particular things. Not so much now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I let my kids have sort of free reign with what they wear to an extent. But growing up, my outfits were provided to me, and this is what I had to wear. And bless my mum. My mum has a very different style personality to what I have, and I have very, very distinct memories of going to family barbecues and things like that in these
Yeah.
beautiful lacy dresses, socks and sandals, hair perfect, everything else. However, that wasn't me. And it's probably still not me. And so I would literally be in the car feeling really tense and uncomfortable because, when I got to the party, I wanted to play cricket. I wanted to climb a tree. I wanted to do all these other things. And I just felt I just didn't feel like me, and it just didn't feel right. And it actually ended up causing me even going, into my teenage years of really dreading if I didn't feel like I was dressed appropriately for me, not about other people, but for me. And I used to get a bee in my bonnet about it. And it's one of those things that we call the alien effect. And, when you put something on, it just doesn't feel right. And sometimes you walk out the door in it, and the whole day you're like, oh, you feel a bit uncomfortable because you feel like perhaps people are noticing that you're being a bit of a fraud with what you've got on. Do you know what I mean? Like you get totally tugging at it and pulling at it, and you're like, I'm not pulling this off at all. Like it just doesn't feel right. And I find that really interesting. And when I sort of worked out that it was really about style personality, when you can give yourself permission to wear what is right for you, I mean, using the pun, it's liberating. It is totally liberating to wear what you're really comfortable in. Now, that's really hilarious now because as a child, I didn't like to get dressed up. Whereas now it's like I don't need any excuse to get dressed up. Like I want to dress up all the time. However, that's the other thing. Style personality changes over time as well. But it really is about showing up and dressing in a way that makes you feel like you, what really reflects you. Because it can go the other way about the whole dressing up thing. For me, it feels natural to me. And when I don't dress up, I actually don't feel right. Whereas for other people, that would be like, oh, whoa, that's too much. And I want to pare it back a little bit. You know what? That's okay. You don't have to, yes, we've got dress codes for certain things, but you don't have to do things the way that everybody else does it. You bring your own version of it to the table.
Yeah, you totally do. Now, I grew up with a seamstress for a mother. And we couldn't really afford to buy clothes. So everything I had was made, and it would a lot of the times be made out of material from somebody else's clothes type of thing. And I have the fondest memories of these wacky jean type things with all these symmetrical shapes all over them. And they got too short for me. And my mother made these flares on the bottom of them.
Awesome.
And I thought I was just the aunt's pants in these things.
Because it's totally your style, Peter.
It is. And I think back to these hot pants that she made for me with the little skirt over the top of it, and I'd walk around like thinking I was just the bee's knees. And it is so, so true. But what happens is when we get into those teenage years, we tend to want to follow the herd. Our girlfriends are doing this, they're wearing that, so therefore we need to wear it too. And I remember a birthday in high school, and the girls said to me, do you have like this Hawaiian skirt, from the 70s? And I've gone, no, I don't have one of those. We're going to get you one for your birthday. No, I don't need one of those. But that's what I got. And every time I put it on, I just went, this just feels so strange. It was just not me.
It doesn't feel right for you.
No, it didn't feel right at all. So there's different types of personalities.
Yes.
And I've done this quiz with you, and I found it fascinating because it really did highlight just exactly who I am as a person as well too. So I've been able to take everything that I learned from that quiz into my life in decisions that I'm making as well too. So it's been totally fascinating for me. Do you want to speak a little bit to some of the different types of personalities and how they show up?
Absolutely. So look, one of the things that you need to be mindful of is we don't fit neatly into a box, and that's where
No.
our own uniqueness and individuality comes into play, because often we can be, say, one style personality for work, another for play, and another one for whatever else you're into. And the other thing is you could be, three at the same time. It might be that you might be 60% of one, 30% of another, and 10% of another. So it's just understanding that you will pick different elements from each style personality, bring them together in your own particular way, and that's how it will show up. So even though you may have a very similar style personality or style personalities to somebody else, you'll still bring them together in a slightly different way. I'm yet to meet anyone who has done it exactly the same, because also throwing in body shape and also colour, which I know we're going to talk about later in the week, it brings it, and that's what I love when I see so many different variations of style personality. So I'm happy to go through all of them if you're happy for me to do that, Peter.
Yeah, let's talk about the rebellious to start with. Can we talk about rebellious? Because that's just like
I wonder why you want to talk about rebellious, Peter. I wonder.
Well, for anybody who's listening, yes, I'm a rebellious creative. So, and one of the things that I know about myself, and it was really interesting because Chantel, who knows Fiona and I, she said to me, like, I love that you're wearing boot camp pants and a lace top together. And it looks fantastic with high heels, but there's no way I could do that. And it was just, it's one of my favorite outfits in my cupboard, and I wear it all the time. So, yeah, I just put weird and wonderful things together and I feel happy in them. It's my happy
And
place.
you look great in them too. So the
Thank you.
rebellious is about being a little bit irreverent. So that's where, the workout pants and combat trousers and things like that will come into play. And often for a rebellious, it's anti-establishment a little bit. So, you tell me to do one thing, I'm going to do things a little bit differently, and I'm going to see how far I can push this. So often detail-wise in terms of elements for clothing, you're looking at things that maybe are a little bit deeper or darker in colour, not always, but sometimes. Maybe they'll have some sort of metal embellishment like studding or something like that, or chain details. They're often into leather. They like leather. And there might be some sort of leather fringing or cutout, or a little bit of animal print or embossed leather, like snakes effect. Oh, hello.
Animal print.
So it really is bringing all of those sort of elements together. There are also people who like to wear like band tees and leather jackets and, ripped jeans and stuff like that. But there can also be people who go for more of a goth appearance or emos or punk or something like that. So it'll be just something that's, a little bit anti-establishment, and, I'm taking my own path. So that's your gorgeous, rebellious style personality. I love that one.
Yeah.
And then
there's the
other. Oh, there's the creative then as well.
Creative, yeah.
Which, when you were talking about the jeans that your mum then put the cuff on, that's so creative, like to add that cuff just to lengthen. So your creatives are a little bit quirky, and they like to do things that are a little bit different. They don't want to be seen to be looking the same as anybody else. So they put together interesting colour combinations. They wear beautiful, weird, wonderful prints. They like op shop finds. They love things that might be a little bit vintage. And they like to put together like really beautiful different textures and things like that too. So they want their outfit to look really interesting. They don't want it to be stock standard. And they don't want it to look like everybody else's either. So that would be your creative there as well. Then sorry.
I know. I was going to say that the other end of the spectrum. Let's go to the other end of the spectrum.
That is your classic. So your classic, you think suited and booted, very tailored. So think, Diane Keaton, for example, although she's got quite a creative A little bit of a rebellious side to her as well. But, everything, like, think white shirt with a beautiful pair of tailored pants and maybe a blazer. They actually find weekend a little bit tricky to do because, it's a bit hard to be a little bit more relaxed. They really are that sort of tailored, semi-fitted look. So they always look appropriate, always timeless. And they tend to wear those sort of core or neutral colours that we talk about. So, your blacks, your whites, your navies, your beiges, your creams, camel, that type of colour. So they won't do like much print or pattern, and accessories wise, they'll keep it quite pared back too. And then one that's similar to your elegant, but is elevated a little bit. And when I say elevated, it doesn't mean that it's better. It's just that they add a little bit more to your classic, and that is your elegant. So again, very much tailored to semi-tailored, and they might do blouses and things like that too. However, what they'll do is they'll add a little bit more colour. So they'll go into those beautiful like plums and royal blues and purples and burgundies and rich greens and colours that are almost associated with royalty. So think Quentin Bryce or Princess Mary. Everything looks very refined and sophisticated, and things look expensive. Doesn't mean they are expensive. They look that way. And if they are going to do print, it's quite refined, and nothing looks out of place for your elegant style personality. And
how lovely do they look? Gorgeous.
They do look lovely. It's a lot of work.
To
say.
Yeah, I can't do that work.
Depends on how much time you've got to devote to doing the elegance, and even the classic. Like the classic, well, it's a little less, but yeah. But then you've got your feminine. Yeah. So your feminine is actually what we say elegant is, classic and feminine combined. Because what they'll do is they'll use softer blouse style fabrics, like those soft draping fabrics where if you drop it on the floor it pulls rather than crumples, whereas classic's always going to go for more of a shirt feel.
Yeah.
The feminines like to use softer colours, so we do see a lot of those sort of beautiful pinks and purples or corals or soft yellows and things like that come through, and they do tend to be attracted to more of those florals and that lace sort of detailing as well. And jewellery-wise and accessories-wise, they're not really big and oversized. They're sort of medium to smaller, might have a little bit more of a vintage feel to them. So, yeah, a lot softer draping, textures quite soft, and they like to have things that are, feel nice against the skin as well. So what am I up to next? Shall we talk about the sultry?
Oh, yeah, let's talk about sultry. I used to think I was sultry.
Peter, I do tease anyone that wears animal print that they've definitely got a little bit of sultry going on. Okay, so you are wearing.
I would have said in my day, when I was working in the corporate world, I would have gone a little sultry.
A little sultry? Let me tell you what that was, ladies. A little sultry is someone who likes to show off their curves. They are very glamorous. So it's about the hair, it's about the makeup, it's about the nails, it's about showing off their beautiful assets, their figure. And like I said before, it's about the animal print. Not all of them wear animal print, but, they've got a bit of animal print going on. And they also tend to go for sort of bolder or brighter colours as well, because I want to gain attention. So for them, it is really about embracing their feminine and showing off that sexy physique. So that's your sultry there. And then what have we got next? We also then have our dramatic. And I'm going to leave relaxed for last, but let's go to our dramatics. So our dramatics, I always tease, are really people who create fashion or lead fashion rather than follow. So these are the women who, or men, because it can be men as well, they're the people who would go and do their grocery shopping in stilettos. And to be honest, they probably just get someone else to do that anyway. So for them, it's about the look. It's not about comfort. So they don't care if it doesn't feel comfortable. If it looks awesome, they just are like, that is fantastic. So they tend to do things that are quite structured, striking, and very much they want to gain attention as soon as they enter the room. They've got a lot of confidence in what they wear, and they really like to dress up. as well. So tend to do sort of bold colours or black, but a lot of structure to whatever they're wearing in black. And
There's
then
a lot of crossover in some of them, isn't there?
oh yeah,
There seems to be
absolutely.
that lot of crossover with them as well too, yeah.
Absolutely.
And last but not least
is our relaxed natural.
yeah.
And so we see a lot of relaxed naturals, and relaxed naturals going, oh, I feel like I have to dress this way and I feel like I have to dress. No, you don't. As a relaxed natural, for them, it's about feeling really comfortable in what they wear. They want to look effortless. They still want to look, you know, really put together, but they want it to feel effortless and a little bit athletic sometimes. So think about, like, these are the people who can wear jeans and a t-shirt and a pair of trainers and look awesome. You know, those people who, when they just put that
Jennifer
together.
Aniston, she'd be a good one, wouldn't she? She'd fit
Yeah.
into that totally. Yeah.
Even if you think Elle Macpherson, and like, you know, she just get out of bed, does her hair, and she just looks great. Like, she wouldn't really need to do much just to rock up and just look really natural.
Yeah.
So they tend to go for more of those sort of earthy tones or nature-based prints. For them, accessories are just functional. Like, they're not putting on loads of jewellery and accessories because it's just should be functional what they're wearing. And we often find that classic relaxed natural is a huge combination, or feminine relaxed natural is a big combination. So if you think that sort of boho look is a combination of feminine and relaxed natural, and you can see that boho is about, you know, really comfort, beautiful, loose flowing garments, but have a little bit of a feminine vibe to them with the ruffles and the colour and maybe a little bit of floral detail. So that relaxed natural is about beautiful soft fabrics again, and also maybe a little bit more natural fibres as well that they're really, really into.
Yeah, I think that what can happen too is that you can fit into a couple of different categories. So I know that I fit into rebellious, creative, and relaxed, natural. And I know sometimes you just get out of bed, and I think I tend to gravitate to one or the other, and it's more a feeling on that day that you get out, get out of bed, and you'll just pull something on because that is just right for you on that day. And sometimes you just want to feel that little bit more relaxed, but you'll have something quirky in there that might throw to, you know, those other style personalities.
Absolutely. And that is such a great point, Peter. It really is about mood. And actually, just something else about that, if that's okay. What we also
Yeah,
know
sure.
is that style personality can change over time. So you
Mm,
mentioned, you touched on it before in terms of, you know, when you're a more corporate environment, there was probably a little bit more
mm.
sultry happening. And what we see actually with a lot of women is that, you know, whatever style personality you might have been in your teens and 20s may change into your 30s depending on what's happening with lifestyle or
Yeah.
work. And then it will change again into our 50s and our 60s as well. And we work with a lot of women, especially if they are retiring or semi-retiring and they've been so corporate, or they changed career and they've been so corporate, but that was actually their work style personality, not necessarily
Mm,
their personality. And they're finding it then tricky to bring that style personality or work out where that style personality is now for them, because they don't necessarily have to be as suited and booted as before. So we're always sort of helping people find, you know, because it will change. I even know for me, becoming a mum, huge change. I had to
mm.
become more natural and bring in a little bit more of that relaxed vibe. Whereas now that my kids are a little bit older, I don't have as much of relaxed natural. I'm going
Yep.
back more towards what my natural style personality is. So we
Mm.
do say it's something you really should revisit every 3 to 5 years. And if you're not loving your wardrobe, it's usually because of the style personality, not because of the shape of it or the fit. It's usually because the style isn't just cutting it for you anymore. You're just feeling a bit blah or bored by it.
Yeah, and that's really interesting that you talk about, you know, those lifestyle changes that can have an impact. I know that even when I was working in the corporate world and I needed to wear, you know, suits and high heels, um, I had green suits and red suits and suits that had studs in them, or suits that had hooks and eyes, and yeah, so they were never, that really structured black or navy look. There was always something different about them because obviously I just didn't feel right in wearing those, the standard corporate world outfits. It had to make me feel good at the same time, and that's where that rebellious side of me came out as well too. It's like, well, no, I'm not wearing a black suit. Yes, I'll wear a suit, but it'll be a suit on my terms, type of thing. So um, and it is interesting to actually understand this more, because I didn't know anything about it then, but now that I do, and you reflect back on it, you can really see why you do the things that you do and you make the decisions that you make. And it's so, as you said, it's liberating to know that you are just following who you are because you feel more confident in yourself, and that just shines through.
It really does. And I'm so happy to hear that you didn't lose any of your style personality during that corporate period. Because again, we work with lots of women who you can always bring your style personality into any dress code.
Yeah.
That's what we like to say. There's ways of doing it, and it sounds like you did it perfectly. It's with the detail, it's with the colour. So yeah, I love that you did that. It's really cool.
And I think the other thing is that we tend to know what feels good for us as well too. But sometimes we get a little bit, we don't feel confident in ourselves to actually just follow it through.
Yeah.
And so we need that little boost. We need to understand that it is okay to be uniquely who we are, and we should give ourselves permission to just follow it through.
And what we say that it does, because often it confirms what we already know, but what it does is it gives you permission to cut out noise. Because when you head to the shops, you head online to go shopping, you are bombarded with so many choices, especially now when fashion really caters to everybody, which I'm so glad, because, we had many, many years where this was the look and this is the only look you can do and this is all that's available, whereas now it's for everybody, and I just think that's so exciting. But what happens is, the challenge with that is sometimes we get distracted, or we go shopping with other people, and the colour might be right, the fit might be right, but actually the style personality is not quite right. And so when you're really clear on what your style is, you can look at a piece and go, okay, yep, I like those elements, and I like them because I know that they might be feminine. I like that colour because it fits my colour palette. I like the shape. But you can walk into a store and scan for style personality first and know whether or not you're in the right place. And you'll know when you're in the right place, because everything is, well, if you get as excited as I do, you go, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's like Christmas.
And the other thing that and the other thing that happens is, when you're actually, you feel confident in that. So, I'll be shopping a lot with my mother because, I run her around on Thursdays and everything like that. And she'll go, oh, isn't this lovely? And I go, that's so pretty, Mum, but it's, not me. So she's now got used to me saying, yes, but no, type of thing. And you do become confident in saying, it's lovely, but it's not for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's important.
It really, really
because
is.
It teaches us so many lessons, because as women, what happens is, if someone asks us to do something, we will say yes. And we know quite well, we'll look at our schedule and go, oh, how am I going to fit that in? Why did I say yes to that? And so when we can start to get used to saying, yes, that's lovely, but no, it's not for me, it gives us permission to also say no in life in general. And I think that's the important thing, is when you find that confidence and you can find it and understand your style personality, it really is going to help you understand how you can be more confident in you and yourself and just be the way you want to be, which is
I know, and
fantastic.
it feels so good. It really does. And you
It
get
does feel
excited
so good.
about putting your things on from your wardrobe because then you put it
Yeah,
on, you're not thinking about it for the rest of the day because you feel really good.
I know. And one of the things that I discovered during COVID was we set up one of the other rooms, because we have heaps of rooms because there was lots of kids in this house originally. And so we set up a room which was a just in case room. And so that if someone had to isolate. And so what I've been doing is going through my wardrobe, and I've really realized there's just so many things in there that I just don't wear. And so I have been creating boxes to give away to different types of places, and I've really just culled the whole thing down, and I've realized we don't need a lot of clothes. Like,
No,
seriously, we don't.
no, we don't.
We
We
don't
don't at
need it.
all. And I think we'll
Mm,
probably touch on that in the next two as well, in terms of, why we don't need as much, because you can
yes.
make pieces work so much harder, um, not only for style personality, but color and also shape as well. So,
Shape as well too. Yeah, yeah. Well, thanks for
I love
joining
style
me
personality.
today, Fiona. Yeah, that's it. Do you want to tell the ladies where to find you, or do you want to put a link up or something like that? Because I can certainly throw that into the mix as well too. So,
Yeah, sure. What I'll do is I'll send you through the link for our style personality quiz, because I think that would be really great for you to check
perfect.
out. Yeah. And
Yeah,
look, just so you know, we only reveal the dominant style personality. So do be aware that that will be one element of your style personality, because,
yes.
we then tease out the others. So just know that it's your dominant style personality, that you're usually a combination of 2 to 3. So there'll be some elements that will really work for you, and there might be a few others that you'll bring in and dot around. So I'll send that across to you, Peter, so that you can share that with your lovely,
That'd be
lovely
awesome. That will be fantastic. I will enjoy sharing that with everybody. And ladies, once you do the style personality, you need to actually post and tell me what you were. I just want
Oh
to
yeah,
know because I'm
I do
nosy.
too.
All right, Fiona, thank you so much for being here. We will see you on Wednesday for part 2.
Can't wait.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.